Well, well, well. There's somebody right now who caught a glimpse of your energy and didn't know what to do with themselves. I'm telling you, the moment their eyes landed on you, their whole spirit buckled. Everything in them paused. Their thoughts, their body language, even their confidence took a step back. They were hit with your vibration all at once, and it did something to them that they were not ready for. This isn't the kind of reaction people have to just anyone. This is the type of reaction people have when they come across someone rare, someone powerful, someone spiritually built in a way that most humans will never be. This person saw you, sensed you, and froze up because your aura carries weight. Heavy, unfiltered, unapologetic weight. And the moment they felt it, they knew you weren't someone to approach recklessly. Your aura doesn't walk into a room. It takes over the entire atmosphere. It reaches people before your voice does, before your presence does, before you even decide to engage. This person felt that and stopped in their tracks. They didn't expect you to be the type of person who changes the way people breathe around you. But that's exactly what you do. You shift people. You disrupt their patterns. You make them reconsider their own posture, their own energy, their own motives. And that's because you've lived a life that has sharpened you spiritually. You're not soft. You're not naive. You're not someone who can be influenced easily. And people who cross your path feel that truth instantly. Whoever this person is, they were not prepared for the level of spiritual authority you carry in your energy field. You come off like someone who's been through experiences that would have broken other people. And yet here you are, walking with this unshakable composure. That combination makes people nervous. They don't know whether to admire you or to fear you. And most of the time, they feel both. That's exactly what happened here. Someone clocked your aura and felt like they were standing in front of someone they shouldn't play with, someone they shouldn't underestimate, someone they shouldn't disrespect. And yet at the same time, they couldn't look away. I'm also getting that you have this spiritual armor on you that people can sense without being able to explain. There's something very ancient, very familiar, very powerful about the way your energy sits. People feel like they've seen you before, but not in this lifetime. You trigger memories in people's spirits. You awaken things in people without even trying. This person felt that too. The moment they noticed you, they recognized something in you that felt bigger than the physical world, something that felt guided, protected, watched over. I'm picking up heavy spiritual protection around you. Your guardians, your ancestors, your higher guides, whoever is assigned to you, they don't play about you. They stand tall around your energy, and people feel that presence before they even understand what it is. You're not someone who moves through life unguarded. You're someone who moves with an invisible team. And the people around you can sense that, even if they don't understand it. This person froze up because your energy told them, without saying a word, watch how you step. Your aura has that effect. It checks people. It humbles people. It strips away their front. It makes them realize real power doesn't always come from noise or attention. It comes from presence. And your presence is something that hits the soul. A lot of people in your environment also sense that you've had a past that wasn't easy. You carry depth. You carry resilience. You carry spiritual experience. And that kind of energy shows up as intimidation to people who aren't built the same. It shows up as attraction to those who appreciate strong spirits. It shows up as curiosity to those who want to know how you became this version of yourself. But one thing is consistent. Nobody meets you and forgets you. Not a single person. This person who clocked your aura felt all of this within seconds. They felt your confidence, your strength, your boundary, your darkness, your wisdom, your divinity. You hit them all at once, and they didn't have the internal grounding to hold themselves together when that happened. Suddenly they felt small. Suddenly they felt exposed. Suddenly they felt like they were standing in front of someone who had lived 1,000 experiences more than they had. You come off like someone who has gone through emotional battles, spiritual warfare, personal transformations, inner deaths, and rebirth. People don't have to know your story to feel your story. Your energy carries the imprint of everything you've survived. It sits in your posture, your expressions, your aura. And the moment people get near you, they feel the weight of it. They feel the strength of it. They feel the warning in it. And that's why people who lack emotional or spiritual maturity freeze around you. They sense they're not built to stand toe to toe with you, energetically. Now let me tell you something else. Your aura has layers. It has this dark feminine or dark masculine frequency that people can sense. Not dark in a negative way, but dark in a powerful, magnetic, grounded, and commanding way. You're not someone who is nice for the sake of being liked. You're someone who is authentic for the sake of being real. That authenticity scares people who are used to superficial interactions. They don't understand how someone like you exists in a world full of pretense. You break illusions, you break personas, you break people's facades. Whoever this person is, they tried to observe you quietly. They tried to study you, analyze you, figure out what makes your energy so piercing. But the more they watched, the more they realized they were dealing with someone who exists outside the typical emotional spectrum. They knew right away that you could see through them. You could sense their intentions. You could read their energy without them speaking. And that realization made their chest tighten. It made their soul lean back. It made them feel naked spiritually. This person is fascinated by you, deeply. They can't stop thinking about the moment they noticed you. Something about your energy is stuck in their mind. They keep replaying that first impression because it hit them harder than they expected. They're trying to figure out why you affected them so strongly. They're trying to understand what it is about you that made their entire spirit shake for a moment. What they don't realize is that your aura awakens people. It mirrors people. It exposes people. And some people simply aren't ready to see themselves when they stand near you. Your presence forces people to confront their own truth. It forces people to confront their insecurities. It forces people to confront their intentions. That's why this person froze up. They weren't prepared to meet someone who moves with truth, spiritual discipline, and a level of confidence that isn't manufactured. You're also someone who has this intense wisdom about you. Even if you don't speak much, even if you don't reveal everything you know, people can tell you've lived. They can tell you've learned. They can tell you've seen things. They can tell you've been shaped by experiences that most people will never survive. And that wisdom leaks through you. You don't try to show it, it shows itself. That's another reason this person became intimidated. Let me also say this. You come off as someone who does not tolerate disrespect. You don't have to raise your voice to command respect. You don't have to confront someone to make them second-guess their own actions. You have this natural authority that makes people adjust their behavior around you. And that authority is rooted in your spiritual identity. You're not here to be played with, and the universe makes sure people understand that your guardians keep a close eye on who comes near you. They watch your surroundings. They watch people's intentions. They watch people's thoughts. And if someone approaches you with any kind of negative intention, those guardians step forward with force. That protective energy is what makes people freeze. They don't know why they suddenly feel nervous or hesitant or shy. They don't understand why their confidence drops or their throat tightens. They don't understand why their instinct tells them, be careful. But that instinct is their spirit reacting to your spiritual protection. Another thing that's coming through strongly is that your aura gives off this vibe, like you've destroyed versions of yourself in the past and rebuilt from the ashes. People can sense the transformations you've been through. They can sense that you're someone who has evolved through pain, grown through challenges, and sharpened through betrayal. They don't know the details, but they can feel the imprint. And that imprint is intimidating. This person is also extremely drawn to you. They want to understand you. They want to get closer. They want to explore your energy. But at the same time, they're terrified of what you might see in them. Because they know you're not someone they can lie to. You're not someone they can manipulate. You're not someone they can impress with surface-level behavior. You require depth. You require honesty. You require integrity. And not everyone is built for that. Your energy is polarizing. People either fall in love with you instantly or get intimidated instantly. There's rarely an in-between. You activate people. You trigger them. You inspire them. You shake them awake. That's what happened here. This person had no idea you had this kind of power, and now they're trying to process what their spirit felt in that moment. What's even more interesting is that this person isn't the only one. There are others who've reacted the same way. Strangers, co-workers, people in your building, people who pass by you in public. They all feel it. They all sense the same thing, that you're not someone who blends into the world. You stand out even when you're silent. You stand out even when you're still. You stand out even when you're minding your own business. Your aura announces you before your physical body arrives. That's why everywhere you go, eyes follow you, without you even trying. People who don't know your name still remember the feeling they had when you walked past them. It's the kind of impact that lingers in their chest long after the moment is over. And here's the part that nobody talks about. People don't just notice you, they react to you. Their body reacts, their energy reacts, their thoughts react. You trigger something in their spirit that they weren't prepared to confront that day. They feel exposed, seen, evaluated, even if you never look directly at them. This is why so many freeze up when you're around. They don't understand how someone like you exists, or how someone can carry that much density in their aura without even trying. When someone clocks your energy, they're getting hit with years of spiritual conditioning, years of shadow work, years of resilience, years of armor that you didn't choose, you earned. And the people around you sense the difference. You're not someone who got your power through surface-level confidence. You got it through survival, expansion, evolution, and spiritual sharpening that creates a type of intimidation that cannot be faked. This person who froze up wasn't just reacting to how you look. They were reacting to the blueprint of your spirit. People rarely meet someone who feels like a walking spiritual warning. Someone who steps into a room with the type of energy that says, I didn't come here to blend in, I came here to shift the space. And every time you move, even in your most casual state, that energy speaks for you. People sense that you carry both light and darkness, not as a conflict, but as a balance. Your dark side protects your light side. Your light side elevates your dark side. And that integration is what makes you incomparable. This person wasn't mentally prepared to meet someone who has that kind of internal alignment. They're used to people whose energy flickers, people who are inconsistent, people who pretend to be strong but melt under pressure. When they noticed you, they realized your strength wasn't performative. It was carved into you. That realization made them freeze because they finally understood the difference between someone who fakes power and someone who is power. You're the type of person people watch closely because they don't know what you're capable of. And that unknown creates pressure in their chest. They don't know whether you're going to inspire them or expose them. They don't know whether you're going to heal them or humble them. They don't know whether you're going to bring out the best in them or make them confront their worst. And that unpredictability, that spiritual unpredictability, is exactly why people stop in their tracks when your presence collides with theirs. What's wild is that you don't even move aggressively. You don't need to. Your energy is loud without noise. Your presence is sharp without hostility. Your aura speaks a language that souls understand instantly. It tells people that you've walked through things that would have destroyed others. It tells people that you've carried spiritual armor through seasons where nobody stood beside you. It tells people that you know things without needing to explain how you know. And that silent understanding is what makes people hesitate around you. Your aura holds a mirror, a raw one. And when people stand near you, they see themselves clearly, sometimes for the first time. If they're insecure, they feel smaller. If they're dishonest, they feel exposed. If they're genuine, they feel seen. If they're jealous, they feel triggered. If they're attracted, they feel breathless. That's the effect you have. This person felt all of it in one moment, and their spirit didn't know how to stabilize. There's also something about your emotional detachment that throws people off. Not because you're cold, but because you've learned not to give your energy away cheaply. You don't entertain unnecessary conversations. You don't engage with people who drain you. You don't explain yourself to people who don't deserve to understand you. You don't chase validation. That level of discipline is extremely rare, and people pick up on it immediately. This person sensed that you weren't interested in being accessible to everyone, and that made you even more intimidating. You carry the kind of confidence that isn't loud, but it's absolute. People know they can't shake you easily. They know they can't get a reaction out of you without earning one. They know you won't be manipulated through confusion, pressure, or emotional tactics. You've outgrown all of that. And anyone who tries anything shady around you gets spiritually checked before they even realize what's happening. That's why this person froze. Something inside them told them to step carefully. Your guardians don't tolerate low-quality intentions. Anyone who approaches you without the right energy gets blocked, redirected, humbled, or exposed. That protective force is what people mistake for intimidation. It's not that they're scared of you. It's that they're scared of what your energy might reveal about them. They sense that if they step wrong, something will snap back at them energetically. They don't know whether it's you, your ancestors, your aura, or your spiritual team, but they feel it, and that's enough to make them cautious. Another thing coming through strongly is that people can sense your inner darkness, but not in a harmful way. It's the darkness that comes from endurance, the darkness that comes from surviving chapters that left marks only you could see. The darkness that comes from knowing your own shadow and not being afraid of it. You're someone who's made peace with your complexity, and people who haven't done that inner work feel overwhelmed by how grounded you are in your duality. This person became intimidated because they knew instantly that you aren't someone they can predict. You're layered, you're complex, you're spiritually advanced, you're emotionally disciplined. That combination creates a type of aura that people feel in their bones. It's the kind of energy that leaves people second-guessing their next move. They have to analyze themselves before they approach you, and that's not something everyone is ready to do. What's interesting is that people admire you as much as they fear you. They're drawn to you because you represent something they wish they had: self-awareness, power, presence, purpose, emotional clarity, spiritual identity. But at the same time, they hesitate because they don't feel worthy of being in your space. This person is in that contradiction. They're fascinated by you, but terrified of getting too close. They don't want to look weak around you, but they also don't want to miss the chance to understand you. Your aura demands authenticity. People who aren't real get uncomfortable. People who aren't healed get exposed. People who aren't grounded get shaky. People who aren't confident get quiet. You don't have to do anything. Your energy handles it for you. That's why this person didn't make a move. Their spirit was trying to regulate itself before they approached someone as energetically potent as you, something else that's coming through. This person has been thinking about you constantly since that moment. They can't shake the impression you left on them. You took up space in their mind without saying a single word. That's how powerful your energy is. They're replaying the moment they saw you like it was a sign. They're analyzing your posture, your expression, your aura, your presence. They're trying to understand why you felt so familiar, so magnetic, so dangerous, and so captivating at the same time. They're also feeling a mix of curiosity and caution. They want to know who you are, what you've been through, what your mind holds, what your energy means. But they also know they can't approach you with anything less than integrity. They can't come with messiness. They can't come with insecurity. They can't come with games. Your aura rejects those things immediately, and this person senses that deeply. You have the type of aura that forces people to level up before they get near you. They have to adjust themselves. They have to ground themselves. They have to clear their intentions. And that's exactly why this person froze. Because they instantly realized they weren't prepared to stand beside someone operating at your level. The intensity you carry isn't accidental. It's the result of every internal transformation you've ever been through. You've shed layers, healed wounds, cut ties, rebuilt yourself, and protected your spirit in ways most people never have the courage to. That work shows. It emits from you. It radiates through you. It becomes a spiritual signal that people pick up on. This person felt like they were standing in the presence of someone they couldn't categorize, someone they couldn't underestimate, someone they couldn't read easily. Their reaction wasn't fear, it was respect. Deep, instinctive respect. That came from a soul-level recognition. People don't freeze because you're aggressive. They freeze because you're powerful. People don't hesitate because you're scary. They hesitate because your energy is unfiltered truth. You're not someone who blends into the background. Your aura rejects the idea of being overlooked. Even when you try to keep a low profile, your energy refuses to hide. It rises, it radiates, it expands. This is why people's bodies go into that pause the moment they clock you. Their breath slows, Their thoughts scatter, their energy bends. Because you're not meeting them on the surface, you're meeting them at the soul. And most people aren't used to that level of contact. They're used to surface-level interactions, temporary personalities, and watered-down intentions. But when they look at you, the mask they wear doesn't stand a chance. This person felt something they weren't expecting, a strike of recognition, a rush of adrenaline, a moment of spiritual alertness that said, "Pay attention." And ever since that moment, they haven't been able to forget the way their spirit reacted to yours. They keep thinking about the intensity of your presence. They keep replaying the way your aura felt like it walked several steps ahead of you. They keep revisiting the moment their chest tightened, their posture changed, their thoughts silenced, and everything suddenly made sense in a way they can't fully explain. It's because your presence communicates on a level beyond logic. It speaks through energy, memory, instinct, and vibration. And that communication is loud to people who've never experienced this kind of spiritual stimulus before. They feel like they're being read, even if you haven't said a word. They feel like you know them before they introduce themselves. They feel like their intentions are under review, and that sensation is both intimidating and addictive. Your aura isn't soft, it's structured, it's mature, it's decisive, it's forged from every chapter you've survived. People can sense the layers in your energy, the rebirths, the endings, the lessons, the breakthroughs. They can sense that you've seen darkness and didn't let it swallow you. They can sense that you've touched beginnings and endings and came back stronger. They can sense that you've walked through internal battles that left you with insight, clarity, and power. That level of depth is something most people don't know how to process. So instead of approaching you, they freeze. It's a natural reaction from a soul that isn't used to standing in front of someone who carries spiritual gravity. Let me tell you something else. This person now watches you differently. They don't stare the way others stare. Their spirit pays attention. They analyze the way you move, but not out of judgment, out of curiosity. They want to understand how someone can have such a balanced mixture of calmness and intensity. They want to understand how you manage to remain composed even when the environment is chaotic. They want to understand how you can be so grounded, so sharp, so precise with your energy. They want to understand how you command a room without opening your mouth. What they don't realize is that you trained for this. You were shaped by the spiritual realms before you were shaped by this world. Your energy matured before your body did. You learned how to read intentions before you learned how to read faces. You learned how to navigate danger before you learned how to navigate conversations. That's why you come off as a menace in the best way. Because you're not someone who is easily approached, easily fooled, easily intimidated, or easily shaken. You represent spiritual alignment, and that is a force people feel before they get the chance to understand it. This person also senses that you don't reveal everything about yourself. You keep your energy protected. You keep your story guarded. You keep your history private. And that privacy intensifies their curiosity. They want to know who you really are, where you come from spiritually, what shaped you, what made your aura this charged. But they also know they can't just ask. You're not someone who opens up because someone feels curious. You open up when someone's energy earns access. You open up when someone's intentions align with your spirit. That makes you even more intimidating, because you're not just powerful, you're selective. Your selectiveness is what creates admiration in people. They don't want to get on your bad side. They don't want to disrespect your space. They don't want to bring low-quality energy near you. They sense that the consequences wouldn't be worth it. So instead they admire you from a distance. They watch you with respect. They carry an awareness that you're different, not because of your looks, not because of your status, but because of the spiritual weight you carry. This person also picked up on something very specific. You don't respond to people with desperation, urgency, or emotional panic. You respond with discernment. You respond with intuition. You respond with the kind of calm that only exists in people who've mastered their inner world. That composure makes people feel exposed, because where others react, you evaluate. Where others crumble, you stand. Where others doubt, you trust your spirit. And that level of spiritual self-control is intimidating for anyone who hasn't achieved it. Themselves, your aura is not chaotic. It's structured, it's calculated, it's intentional. It holds the kind of power that makes people think twice about their next move. And this person felt that deeply. They knew instantly that they couldn't come to you with half-truths, emotional confusion, or hidden motives. Your energy would reject it before they even spoke. That's why they hesitated. That's why they froze. That's why their instincts told them to be careful. People who aren't grounded spiritually feel overwhelmed in your presence. Not because you intend to overwhelm them, but because your energy is too raw, too pure, too evolved for people who still hide behind their masks. Your aura demands authenticity, and that is the hard part. People who aren't ready to face their own truth feel nervous around someone who has already mastered theirs. And this is where things get even more interesting. This person didn't just freeze. They shifted. They shifted internally. Their energy recalibrated, their instinct awakened, their awareness sharpened. You triggered something dormant inside them, a desire to grow, a desire to understand themselves, a desire to elevate. Because when someone encounters a spirit like yours, it activates a part of them they didn't even know was sleeping. Your energy doesn't just intimidate, it awakens, it inspires, it challenges, it transforms. That's why this person can't shake you from their mind. You're not just someone they saw, you're someone their soul recognized. You're not just someone they noticed, you're someone their spirit reacted to. You're not just someone who walked past them. You're someone whose aura touched something deep inside them that they can't ignore. They're trying to understand what they felt. They're trying to decode why their spirit reacted before their mind could process it. They're questioning why their heartbeat shifted, why their intuition sharpened, why their confidence dipped, and why it felt like everything in their chest rearranged itself the second they saw you. That wasn't attraction alone. That wasn't curiosity alone. That wasn't admiration alone. It was recognition, a soul-level recognition that made them internally bow without even realizing it. And when someone recognizes your spiritual rank, even subconsciously, their entire behavior changes. They approach you with caution because your energy exposes truth. They approach you with respect because your aura demands order. They approach you with fascination because you represent something they can't categorize. And they approach you with a subtle fear, not because you intend to harm them, but because their spirit knows you're not someone who tolerates deception, disrespect, or disorder. This person also picked up on something very specific. You do not move like someone who needs validation from others. Your energy is rooted in independence. Your presence is rooted in self-knowledge. Your confidence comes from experience, not attention. And people who are used to others seeking approval find themselves intimidated by someone who carries self-validation in their energy field. It forces them to confront the parts of themselves that depend on external confirmation, and you're not someone who entertains insecurity. You expose it. That spiritual exposure is the real reason this person froze. It wasn't your appearance alone, though they found you striking. It wasn't your demeanor alone, though they found it captivating. It wasn't your silence, though it said everything. It was the reflection they saw of themselves when they were near you. They weren't prepared to see their own shadow, their own wounds, their own potential, and their own weaknesses mirrored back at them in an instant. Your aura is like a spiritual diagnostic. It reads energy, intention, alignment, and imbalance. And that kind of energy is rare. Most people aren't used to being seen clearly. They aren't used to someone sensing their emotional residue or spiritual patterns without them speaking a word. But that's exactly what your presence does. This person felt naked around you, not physically, but spiritually. They felt transparent. They felt visible. They felt like nothing in them was hidden from your awareness. And yet, instead of feeling judged, they felt inspired. They felt challenged. They felt awakened. They felt the urge to elevate themselves so they could match your frequency. That's the effect you have. You don't just intimidate people, you activate them. Your energy pushes people to evolve. Your presence forces them to stand straighter, think clearer, and behave with more integrity. You make people want to become better versions of themselves simply by existing near them. This person is now in that stage. They're trying to match your frequency, trying to stabilize themselves, trying to approach you without the shakiness they felt the first time, trying to understand their own reaction because it revealed parts of themselves they hadn't confronted. They don't want to appear weak in your presence. They don't want to come off naive. They don't want to bring low-quality energy towards someone who moves with purpose and precision. So they're analyzing themselves silently. They're trying to figure out how to align with someone who carries this much spiritual weight. What they don't realize is that your aura isn't just powerful, it's prophetic. It senses shifts before they happen. It reads people before they speak. It reacts to intentions, not words. And that's what makes you a menace in the best way, because you don't expose people through confrontation. You expose them through presence. You don't tear people down. You simply reveal what's already inside them. You don't intimidate people through force. You intimidate them through truth. Truth is your aura. Truth is your energy. Truth is your presence. This person is beginning to understand that the reason they froze wasn't because you were dangerous, it's because you were powerful. And power is something the unprepared spirit can't hold without trembling. But here's the part that's really shifting now. Their fear is turning into admiration. Their hesitation is turning into respect. Their shock is turning into fixation. And their fixation is turning into a subtle spiritual devotion. They're drawn to you because they know, deep down, that someone like you doesn't appear in their life every day. Someone with your frequency, your aura, your vibration, your spiritual identity, that's not common. They know it. Their soul knows it. Their instinct knows it. That's why they keep thinking about you. That's why they keep noticing you in every setting. That's why they keep replaying the moment their spirit froze in your presence. They felt something real, something that went beyond attraction, beyond interest, beyond curiosity. They felt spiritual impact. They felt energetic authority. They felt the presence of someone who doesn't just exist, someone who influences the spiritual atmosphere around them. And now they're watching you even more carefully, not in a predatory way, not in a competitive way, but in a reverent, fascinated, humbled way. They want to understand you. They want to study you. They want to learn from you. They want to approach you, but they're making sure they do it correctly because they know that someone like you doesn't tolerate half-hearted energy. You don't entertain impulsive behavior. You don't open your space to people who aren't aligned. Your aura is not just intimidating. It's intelligent. It's discerning. It's selective. It's ancient. It's charged with everything you've overcome and everything you've awakened. People who meet, you know instantly that they have to rise to the occasion if they want to stand beside you. And this person is trying to do just that. They're cleaning up parts of themselves because your energy inspired them to grow. They're becoming more self-aware because your presence made them conscious of their weaknesses. They're becoming more grounded because your aura forced them into spiritual humility. They're learning how to regulate their emotions because they want to match your calm intensity. They're trying to become someone who can walk beside you without collapsing under the weight of your presence. That's the impact you have. You don't chase people, you shift them. You don't pressure people, you elevate them. You don't threaten people, you expose the truth in them. You don't walk like everyone else, you walk with spiritual force. You don't enter rooms like everyone else, you enter with divine awareness. You don't carry energy the way others do. You carry alignment. And that alignment is what makes people freeze. Because the unhealed spirit trembles in the presence of truth. The unprepared soul hesitates in the presence of power. The ungrounded ego collapses in the presence of authenticity. But the awakened heart admires it, respects it, learns from it. And this person is now operating from that awakened place. They didn't just freeze because you intimidated them. They froze because your aura rewired something inside them. They froze because your presence activated their dormant intuition. They froze because your energy revealed their potential and their weaknesses in the same moment. And now, they can't forget you. The truth is simple. You are a menace, but in the most spiritual, magnetic, commanding way. You're the person people don't dare disrespect. You're the person people don't approach casually. You're the person people don't forget. You're the person people admire even when they're intimidated. Your aura didn't just get clocked. It left a permanent mark.